So back when they were still at the Imini's camp, the main character confessed to the male lead. I am not kidding. It was such a bittersweet confession. The main character put out all his feelings for the male lead, that he wants to be the male lead's wife, he wants to stay by the male lead's side, he wants the male lead to stay by his side, he wants to be taken care of like a wife would be taken care of by their husband. Like, he also reveals that he knows since the male lead is no more his slave, because he never saw the male lead as his slave, especially since he destroyed the male lead's slave papers. But he also states that since the male lead saved his life, he doesn't owe the main character a life debt anymore. So if the male lead just wants to leave and go back to his people, back to his tribe, that he can go, he can leave, but he wants the male lead to stay with him. And it was such a bitter confession. Like, it was so sweet and perfect, but at the same time it was bitter, a bitter pill to take. Like, I was sad, like I was crying through the confession, like I was being heartbroken. Like, I was like, oh, they're finally confessing, and then it was just bitter. Like, why? So we found out how the male lead ended up in his position that he ended up in is because his brother betrayed him. So he sent the male lead and his men out on a mission, but that mission was a trap to kill all of the male lead's men and sent the male lead to be a slave for the main character's kingdom. And typically the male lead was probably supposed to die, but he survived and ended up becoming a slave instead. Like, it is horrifying, but honestly not surprising either. I knew something had to be involved with his tribe to end up the way he did, especially with him having a high position in his tribe. There's no way no one had not set him up and he was not betrayed. It's probably also the main reason why he does not return back, because if he returns back, he's mostly going to be a dead man. And he does tell this to the main character. The only way he can return back is if he has a power force backing him up. So the third prince is the only one who can be emperor, because the emperor and the former emperor are now in the hands of the Imini and the Imini's camps, and no one can go rescue them right now. So the third prince is the only surviving child or male heir that can take the throne. Now, he does have a distant relative who could take the throne, but that kid is like 10 years old. There's no way that kid can rule a kingdom, especially a kingdom that's in peril right now. No way. So yes, he's the only one who can rule right now. Because of his relationship with the third prince and who his teacher is and his friendships with all of the high officials, people want the main character to go back and run in the government. And the main character's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay in my little land and work on my land. And typically the third prince is also perfectly fine with him staying there right now, and the same with his teacher, but everybody else keeps trying to get the main character to go back and work in the government, and the main character keeps telling them, no, I'm not, I'm perfectly fine with this. Also, the general that he has a friendship with has offered the male lead a position in the military, a good high position in the military, and the male lead at first says no, but later he says yes. So the main character is rich. While everyone else is trying to get hold of money, the main character is basically hoarding it all to himself. Like, he is sitting on a pile of good fortune. So everyone's coming to him asking for money, and the main character is giving them loans. He's like, yes, we'll just have to have a loan agreement and you have to pay me back. But yes, I'll give you this money. Even the third prince, the future emperor, comes to him and asks for money. Because again, that is how poor the government is right now. That the literal future ruler of the government has to come to him and ask for money, which is a really bad sign about how dire their situation is. So when the main character's main friend comes to ask the main character for money, he also finally gets to see the main character for who truly is, and not who the main character constantly pretended to be all those years ago. He finally gets to see who he is and acknowledges who the main character truly is. And he asks the main character for money so he can go to and get his wife. Hopefully his wife is still alive, most likely not, but he needs ransom money to save her. Also, when they were coming up with the plan to get everyone out of the Imini camps, the main character and his friend had gotten into a literal argument and spat for what the other one did. Like, he's upset with the main character for basically making a scene and almost getting killed after everything he tried to keep the main character alive. And the main character's like, yeah, but kowtowing and bowing to the Imini after what the Imini's did and what the Imini's doing right now is disgusting and is not right. You needed to stand up and fight and even die to protect your kingdom, and here you are snoovling under the Emily. Like, they both had really good points of why the other one did what they did, and they have both good points of why the other one is upset with each other, and it was nice to see them just lay that out and tell each other to their face why the other one did what they needed to do and why the other one did to survive and get back to their kingdom. So the general that the main character is friends with, he followed the third prince there, but not to ask money like the third prince did. No, he is there to ask permission to form a brotherhood between the main character, him, the male lead, and the third prince. And since the third prince and the male lead has a more high-ranking positions than him in status, because he knows the male lead's true status, and he knows this would be highly disrespectful and not okay to do, but the third prince and the male lead agrees rightfully because they do want this relationship and brotherhood. And this is also when the male lead agrees to join the military. So now they're all working together, and they're also trying to come up with a plan to push the Emily away and plans for the future battle, because again, the general, because of his mistake that led to this whole situation, he has to pay it back by going to a battle again. So yes, they form a brotherhood, and we all know this is what the male lead's been wanting this entire time. He wants family, he wants a brotherhood, he wants a strong connection and relations with people, and a brotherhood is the best way he could get it. The main character uses his status to get his brother a position in the government. It's not a high-ranking one, but it's a good one to live off on, and will keep his brother in good footings. He also had a conversation with his stepmother, and though it was more to be a public scene of apology, she does kind of apologize for how she treated him all those years.